Hola, bon dia. Carl Munson here with the Good Morning Portugal show with expatsportugal.com. Of course, we are a YouTube channel and a podcast with over 400 episodes now on the podcast there. You can consume that via Spotify. Good morning to you. How are you? Hope you're well. Lovely guest lined up for you. We have Sandy in the green room just waiting, and she's going to be telling us all about her Swara slow living project. And it's interesting. I was just thinking, we've all been forced in many ways with the pandemic to live in a slower way, and our lives have been changed. And of course, many people want to get back to the old ways and whatever it's going to be, then what the new normal is going to look like. But it's great at this moment to be talking about slow living, all things slow, I think, because certainly that's part of what I moved to Portugal for. And I suspect a few of you others as well. So we'll be talking to Sandy in just a moment. Let me first take a look at the weather, of course, because Barbara, she is still among us. And let's find out what's going on weather-wise and see if she's on her way. And yes, the forecast is looking pretty similar to the last couple of days as I've been reporting it. A good weekend to look forward to. Actually, looking out of the window, there's some sun in the sky, which is great. It's been a pretty miserable few couple of days. And the dogs have sad looks on their faces. And let them in overnight because it just seems so grim out there. And that is going, folks. That is going. Lisbon, 16 degrees, possible drizzle today. A couple of rainy days to go yet. And then a beautiful weekend by the look of it, 20 and 19 degrees respectively centigrade in Lisbon for the weekend. So just Wednesday and Thursday to get through with the residue of Storm Barbara or Depression Barbara, as she's also known. And I hope she hasn't been affecting you too badly where you are. Yeah, do let me know what the weather's like in your part of Portugal, or indeed wherever you are in the world this morning. Porto, currently 14 degrees with light rain, 18 degrees, the high today. And I'm trying to bring you some silver lining to these clouds. In Porto, that's not going to be the case. There's still 7 straight days of rain forecast. So forgive me if I misled you there. If you're up in Porto, not looking good. But I think the worst of Barbara will be behind us within the next couple of days, certainly there. But it will continue to rain in Porto. Coimbra, 14 degrees currently. And the forecast is for possible light rain and 3 more days of wet rain, as you can see there, but brightening up on Saturday and rain returning next week, actually on Sunday. So, yes, the depression, the storm's moving on, but the rain's going to stay with us. Faro, 18 degrees at the moment. The sun peeking out from behind the clouds in Faro. And 2 more days of rain and then a nice looking weekend. Well, Friday, Saturday anyway, and a cloudy Sunday, Monday in Faro. And it's going to be 21 degrees the high today down there in the south of the country. So, news-wise this morning, I mean, I'm going to rely on you, I think, for the news. I'm looking at the Portugal Residents front page. There's a story about thank you for your smiles. The tourism board praises friendly Algarve residents. That's nice. A very sunny, smiley picture there, leading the way on the Portugal Resident, the English language news source that we tend to refer to. And, of course, still dominating social media in the news, the president, who was naked from the waist up. I put a really good video up yesterday on the Good Morning Portugal show Facebook page that somebody made of the president not only having his flu jab, but it was being turned into a Coke break, a Diet Coke break. Hilarious. So a few hellos, but before we go to those, a few hellos from you, our lovely community here. Let's bring Sandy onto the screen and say good morning to Sandy.
Hello, good morning.
Olá, bom dia to you. How are you this morning?
Bom dia a todos. I'm very well. And yourself, Carl?
Yes, pretty good, thank you. I actually stayed up late last night because we had another lovely guest last night, a chap called Ward, who's doing his best to reforest the Alentejo, which is desertifying. We understood, and he was an unexpected guest, quite late on. So I had quite a late night and a fascinating, inspiring discussion with him, which I anticipate having with you as well, because I love the look of your project. Let me introduce you to a few of our community here on the quarta-feira, 21 de outubro. Today we're trying our best to learn the language, so we put the day and the date in there and get everyone to.
Bem.
Oh, muito bem, thank you. Hola from Deborah Davies. Good morning to you, Deborah. Hola, bon dia from a bright Cabanas de Tavera. Yesterday was fun, thanks to Barbara, but just normal rain later today. Isn't it great when you can say just normal rain? Jeff, hola, bon dia from a very soggy Cotswolds this morning. Good morning to you, Jeff. Dominique, morning. Lovely morning in San Martino de Porto. Is that where you are, Dominique? That's a lovely part of Portugal. Love it there. I'm sure you've heard my story about being stranded in San Martino de Porto. What a fantastic place to be stranded. Good morning to all from a cloudy and chilly Wiesbaden in Germany. And just finally, hello so far from the community this morning. Bon dia, my dear. Going to get the car. It's MOT today. Well, good luck with that, Sean, over there in Pedrogo Pequeno. And Sandy with us here, having a very traditional cup of tea to start the day, I think, surrounded by your beautiful azulejo tiles from your homestead, the Swara Slow Living Project. Would you care to give us a little bit of an intro to that, please, Sandy?
Sure. This is a home located in Quinta do Picado, which is a small town near the city of Aveiro. My ancestors, actually, my mom's grandparents used to live on this land, not in the same house though. They used to just grow food here. And my grandfather decided to, 35 years ago, build this home for the family. My family had immigrated in Canada, my grandfather. So I was born and raised in Montreal, French Canadian. And I was used to just come here all the time growing up to be with my grandfather. And I was very attached to Portugal. It had a sentimental value because I loved my grandparents very much. And I had a special connection with my grandfather. So to make the story short, this house was kind of a little bit abandoned for the past 9 years. For 9 years, not the past 9 years, because I've been here now, it's my 3rd year. And it all came after a transition of life because I was living in a city. Montreal is like a village in North America, but it is a city. So we do have a different rhythm, which Swara, actually, that people are seeing, the name of the place, is related to music, which is related to rhythm also. And I thought it was a beautiful meaning to translate what I wanted to convey as a message, which was to slow down. So that's why I did a transition of life. I felt like I was running all the time and always work to do, studies to do. The definition of success back then for me was very different than now. And I realized that the life I was living didn't really reflect who I truly am and my values. And so I transitioned to letting go of the job, letting go of the apartment. It was kind of a fancy lifestyle I was living, very luxurious due to my work. And I decided that I was just gonna focus more on things that I enjoyed, like health. I was very fascinated with the world of health. Why? Because I guess it makes you understand how everything is interconnected. Yes. Nature, this form of life that we're living, our emotions, the energy that we are, that is all around us. And it kind of brought me in I tend to think that we're like we all living here like a kind of a spiritual experience too. And I decided that I was going to go into meditation and yoga and do a health coaching program. So I took years actually to change lifestyle, because I mean, a lot of times what I feel is we want to be here and we want to do this and we want to have this life, but we have to prepare ourselves for it. It's like a bridge you have to build in order to get to a place where you want to enjoy. Because I mean, coming here with a land and not knowing composting, or not knowing how to plant a seed, grow some veggies, I mean, it's all a learning process, which I had the chance to do traveling. It's just my interests became different, and I started taking classes in permaculture and more about ancient kind of forms of healing. So how people used to heal themselves like 10,000 years ago, and other like millenary medicines that still exist and we talk about today. And I believe that if we still talk about them today, it's because they have proven to be effective through time, because or else I think we wouldn't be mentioning these things.
Yeah.
So it's all things that I was interested in. And the more, you know how it is, the more you search, the more you find. So I discovered this world of, I call it tools, tools that helps us awaken in us our own potential and our own strengths and healing powers that we have. So I think nothing comes from outside of us, but everything outside of us helps us connect with things that are already here, already inside. So I discovered all these tools, and then just the end of my story now, because I can be here talking to you all day.
Right, I'm really enjoying this. Go on, carry on.
And I one of my experiences learning all of these things was in India, where I spent a lot of time. And I used to do this yoga teacher training in Hatha Yoga in Darjeeling, which was in the Himalayas in India. And
Wow.
part of the program was to go to a different temple every morning, like at 5 a.m. We would be in a different temple meditating. And it was amazing because there was so many temples there. Darjeeling is is in the border next to Nepal, next to Tibet, Bhutan. So there was temples from different cultures that were Buddhist, Hinduist, and one of them, I remember perfectly like it was yesterday. There was so many monks sitting around and playing different kind of instruments. And the vibration of these instruments were like kind of very low, like, and I was there meditating, and I don't know, it was kind of like I was connecting with some kind of like very peaceful and very deep meditation. And for some reason, images started popping in my mind. And you know, this house here where I live now, used to be in a negative place in my brain, negative kind of like drawer, you know, where you put souvenirs. It's like was connected with sadness because, you know, I saw my grandfather heal. He was healed here and passed away. So it was connected to many sad energies and emotions. And so I was like, the tendency was to avoid this place, that where I would go and feel nostalgia and feel all these things. So I was kind of avoiding this space. But in this meditation, there was images of the house, and I was in the house and I was hosting people, and I was like, whoa, I kind of opened my eyes, and it was like, where does this come from? And suddenly it's like all the dots, you know, like you do all kinds of things in your life and you don't know where the hell you're going and you don't know why you're doing what you're doing. And then suddenly for me, that moment, it was like the lines, you know, were connecting the dots, and suddenly it was kind of creating a clearer image. And from India, I said, let me try this. Let me go to that house. Let me see how it feels. Let me see this lifestyle, how it is, and what happens if I go there. So here I am 3 years later and receiving the most amazing people. I've been having so much support. So many people have come from all over the world, and some locals now are starting to come. I'm very happy to open to the Portuguese community because so far my life has been traveling. So I was connecting with so many people abroad, and they were all coming to support me in this vision, which is to have a space that everyone is welcome to come and actually slow down and actually hear themselves, hear their own stories, and transforms the stories that they're telling themselves that don't serve them anymore and that it's blocking the way. And learning different tools that can help them connect with their own potential and help them learn more about themselves and help them kind of overcome whatever dynamics, energies that are blocking. It could be with family constellations, to deal with things that have to do with our relationships. It can be with so many different tools. Like human design is one that we did a retreat about 10 days ago, which was fascinating. Human design is something I didn't know about, and that's the thing. I'm lucky is that all these beautiful people come with all these tools, and I also get to learn in the process and keep growing in the process. So that's what the intentions are here at Swara Soul Living, and to actually share this experience with people that are also in their own journey, trying to look for a change of lifestyle or diet or mindset, or just, everyone wants to feel more at ease in life. And just, I guess we're all looking to feel this happiness that is already there, but that we're so busy and we're in so much noise that we don't get to hear certain things and feel certain things. We just have to allow ourselves, and it's been my experience. So maybe some people resonate, maybe some people don't.
So do. Well said. Well said. I love everything that you've said there and everything that the project stands for. And I think other people do here as well. You mentioned Nepal. Dhruba is from Nepal. He's going to be joining me, I hope, on Friday to talk about his journey where he's come to Sintra, to Portugal.
Nice to meet you, Dhruba.
Yeah, Portugal's a bit of a spiritual home, it would seem, isn't it? Great, Sandy, says Gilda. Gilda, we're talking to tomorrow in a very professional capacity on the Expats Portugal Calling webinar tomorrow night, talking about D7 visas and NHR, non-habitual residents. But Gilda clearly has a spiritual side as well and really appreciates what you're doing. Actually, it was her photograph that we started the show with. She's an amazing photographer too. But I think she likes the sound of what you're talking about. Wayne Barker, hola, bon dia, todos. And Natalie, sorry, came in late on this. Does Sandy have a website? Absolutely. And we're looking at the website, and I will put the link in, Natalie. Good morning to you, Natalie and Vitor. That's a lovely teapot you've got there, Sandy. Amazing. Is that how you start your days?
Yes, I start my days always with something warm. And here in Portugal, there's so many herbs, aromatic herbs, so many beautiful plants. So it's nice to mix them, and just the aromas. Just to share with you, what I use a lot here in the house are things to awaken our senses. So incense, flowers, candles, anything that you can wake up any kind of sense, even with Tibetan bowls or bells. When you go to any sacred space like temples and churches, there's all kinds of things that are there, but people don't really understand where it comes from. And I had this man in India, this doctor of Ayurveda, who explained to me that when you awaken your senses, it makes you more present. So it grounds you, and it makes you more aware of what's around you. So it's kind of you can call it rituals. Like, we have all rituals. Getting up in the morning, depending on what your habits are, brushing your teeth, these are rituals. So these are also rituals and tools that I use to just feel more connected with my space and feel more grounded where I am.
Oh, I hear you. I mean, I do teach a little bit of meditation myself. And not many people here know about this, I don't think, but I do a little live stream at 10 o'clock. And part of that is coming to the senses, because our senses are a great access, aren't they, into our stillness. So I'm totally with you there. The aromatic herbs and whatever it is hearing and seeing, but without the judging, just to bring us into our awareness, and to go deeper into our awareness. Absolutely lovely. What a fantastic conversation we're having this morning. I think other people agree as well. Nuno is he's a Portuguese man in UK who stays in touch. And I think we generate a little bit of saudade with Nuno, unfortunately, but he still comes. He still comes to hear about his beautiful country whilst he's in UK. Bon dia a todos. Love the tiles in Sandy's house. They must remind you of home, Nuno. Very interesting subject. Made me think of a Canadian friend of mine who always says we need to wind down. We'll check more about it. Yes, so I will put the link in. There it is, and we'll stick that in the show notes as well, of course. Fellow Canadian, another Canadian here. What is it with all you Canadian Portuguese people? Bon dia from Frank, who, is now in Portugal, was from Canada. Gilda, send me some information about the house. I'd love to meet you. I need help with meditation and slowing down. So we'll do that, Gilda, for sure. Elephants use low-frequency ultrasound over long distance to keep connected with others. Interesting, says Gary. Yeah, the creatures are a lot more intelligent than we are, aren't they, a lot of the time? Amazing, says Dominique, who's tuned in this morning as well. And Thane likes your cup. That's one big cup. They're making me laugh. They're making me laugh and cough as usual this morning. And from Greece, bon dia, Kalimera from Olga. Good morning to you. That's a lovely seat you've got there, Olga. I can imagine that in Sandy's back garden, actually. That lovely relaxing chair that you've got there. So slow living, the emphasis is on slow and the idea of slowing down. That makes a lot of sense to me. And, the slow movement, slow food. Carl Honore, I think, wrote the book, didn't he, in praise of slow. There's definitely a lot in this. How can we come to our senses? How can we literally relax if we keep going at 100 miles an hour? And that seems to be the condition or the transition you've described. You're living a very busy life with a different set of priorities, and now it's been transformed with your project and with how you live now. The pandemic came along, didn't it, a few months ago, and caused everybody to slow down. Maybe not quite in the way they wanted. What do you make of the impact of the pandemic, Sandy, and how people have been forced to slow down? Are you seeing any positives coming out of that?
I tend to see always more the positive than the negative, because through that is where we grow, actually. Through all these things that happen to us, it's what puts us in a place of growth, of learning about ourselves, learning more about life. I think this, unfortunately, it's causing a lot of trouble and pain to many people. And, I fear terrible for people that are really suffering the outcomes of this. But at the same time, I tend to believe that it is necessary to reflect on the way we've been living, consuming, the way what we have been prioritized so far, and to start thinking about ourselves, to start thinking about, like, what is it really that I need? How do I really want to live? How do I want to be in connection with nature, with the world, with others, with myself? I think that it is important to make people slow down, because at the rhythm we are going, it's not sustainable. And there's so many different kind of ways to look at what is happening. And I think, like in anything else in life, it's important that we find a version that serves us well. So in anything that happens to us, I think it's important to see a story, a version of this that actually serves you in your life. And I know growth hurts. Growing up does hurt. You have to let go. It's like parts of you have to die, and you have to let go of identity that you've created for yourself all these years, and you have to let go of so many things, and I know it hurts. So yes, and overall, in general, I see a lot of beautiful things also coming out of this pandemic. I don't like to use the word pandemic, because I don't see it as I see that word as a word that creates fear, and indeed creates all kinds of vibration that are actually destructive and negative. So I don't like to use these words. I mean, I think it's also part of nature. I mean, we are natural beings. We live in this planet Earth, and there's all kinds of things that are existent. And now we're focusing on this one. But I mean, I was just sharing with a friend of mine who travels to Nepal and who is very sad he cannot go to Nepal this year. He was like so afraid about this virus, because I was telling him, you could still go to Nepal. I mean, it's just that you really have to want to go this time to go there. And he was, and I was like, what are the excuses that you are creating that are avoiding you from going? And he started mentioning, well, this virus, you know, I don't want to expose myself because the numbers are rising there. And I said to him, you know, you've been traveling all your life. You know, there are tons of other viruses there that are actually more dangerous. And suddenly we forget about all the other viruses. We forget about all the other diseases. I mean, in my life, I see so many people having cancer. That's the disease that most, like a lot of people that are like, you know, everyone knows people around them with this disease. And suddenly we're not focusing on anything else anymore. We're all focusing on this virus. And I mean, it is important to know what's going on. It's important to know what this virus is. But at the end of the day, we don't control anything. We still don't know anything. We think we know, but we don't know. And it's like this constant quest of truth that we're all like running after. And it is important, I mean, to have certain degree of understanding. But I mean, at a certain point, we have to let go. We have to create space, because we're all, you know, living with this intensity where all that exists now, it's this and there's nothing else, and it's also not true.
Yes, yes, well said. A matter of balance, right? Because that's an important word as well here, right?
Yes, it's true. Yeah, balance. Hard to find your own balance, and my balance is different from yours, from somebody else. So.
Yes. But we do know when we're out of balance, don't we? Funnily enough, our body and our life seems to tell us if we're not in balance in our own individual way, as you said. Sorry to hide you for a minute there, but Deborah's saying,
No,
this is a silver lining. I'm an artist, and with many exhibition spaces closed, I've started making art that can be displayed outdoors. Good solution, Deborah. It's opened up a new world of nature to me and naturally slowed me down. How lovely. Planning on moving to Portugal in mid-November, so looking forward to bringing my sculptures to natural spaces in Portugal, hopefully with a bit better weather than I'm getting here in the UK. It's all the same at the moment, Deborah. We're all having rainy weather for a week or so. But yeah, I think between you and me, absolutely, you will have better weather here in Portugal than in UK. Pete, over there in Castanheira de Pera, I think if we slowed down any more here in Castanheira de Pera, we'd start going backwards. Excuse me, making me chuckle again. Life here flows with the seasons and the weather. What a great way of life that you've I mean, you've done your own slow project there by the sound of it, Peter, and people in that area probably were never have always been in touch with that, and sort of never distracted too much by some of the crazier ways of the world. And you've touched upon something really wonderful in Portugal, as I think many people do, and many people are attracted to Portugal for that very reason. Jeff saying from the soggy Cotswolds, a wonderful talk this morning. Would love to meet this lady and learn about her work. That's very possible, I'm sure, Jeff. Jeff will be over in Portugal again soon. Worst condition ever. But you are right. There are much more problems around the world. Best place to be before you get into a problem in life. Thank you, Drew. But he's ever positive and philosophical. Looking forward to talking to you, my friend. And Pete, stepping in to choose our word of the day, our Palavra do dia. So that will be tranquilidade. I suspect you approve of that, Sandy, this morning as our word of the day. Tranquilidade.
Tranquilidade, yes.
Okay, so let's go with that. So yes, to answer Jeff's question, then how can people visit, meet you, get involved in the things that you're talking about there?
So I have many things going on here. One of them is that I host volunteers that every year come and help me. They help me in different kind of tasks, and One of the person who wrote to you now was an artist. I actually have an artist now who's doing a mural at the entrance of our home, which is beautiful, and it's nice because it's a co-creation. This, what is here, this home, this has all been a co-creation. It's not just mine, it's from everyone that has come, put their energy into this, and assist me in making this what it is today. So it's growing organically. It's every day, things are moving, are shifting. Activities that I'm doing this year are different from last year. And I'm sure next year will be different again. Mm-hmm. And people can come as sometimes volunteers. They can come as hosts. So I'm using different platforms where people reserve and they stay as a host, where they can practice yoga with me. They can do cooking classes with me. They can just stay here and not do anything at all, and just enjoy. They can pick fruits in the garden and just journal and just paint and just do whatever they like, sip on tea and reflect and just take that moment for themselves. And there's also retreats and events that we co-create. I like to collaborate with people because this is where I learn, with collaborations with all kinds of different subjects. One of them is happening this weekend is clay and yoga. So I am collaborating with an artist from Aveiro, Maria João, who has a shop called Pássaro de Seda, where she's a ceramist and she sells there some of her work. And so she will be giving workshops here on how to play with the clay and create yourself some useful bowls, plates. And it is really an activity for centering that help you ground, help you connect with your creativity. So it is also a healing activity. Art is very healing. So we have put together yoga, meditation, and ceramic to create this event that's going to happen this weekend. And so there's all these events, retreats, community that we create here at home with volunteers, with guests. And so there's this kind of different things that go on, and there will be also cooking classes that will be happening probably in November. Mm-hmm. Just to say, I am intending to create a program more focused on cooking for next year, but it's a different kind of cooking because I think that everybody would like at some point to open the fridge and create something without having to look at a recipe, make a list of ingredients, go to the groceries, and make it complicated. And it takes a lot of energy and more time. So it's nice to cook simply. It's nice to use what you have, and it's nice to do it and have pleasure doing it, and to also, most important, to enjoy what you make and enjoy your meals and enjoy your food. Food is a big part of our life, and it can be part of also lots of healing for our lives as well, and a lot of connection to nature as well. When you start, picking certain foods that are seasonal, that are within this like small distance from where you live, I mean, it makes you explore tons of things that are beautiful and colorful.
Yes, and it's very quick access, isn't it, into all the things you're talking about. Several times a day you could become more mindful about how you're preparing food, who you're with, how you eat the food, how you enjoy the food, how you maybe collect and prepare the food. There's so much in that, isn't there, that we might have, in our haste, I suppose, and we're coming back again to slowing down, in our haste, in our modern sort of consumer world where everything's very sort of mechanical and timetabled and stressful, we tend to forget about that opportunity, don't we?
Yes, and it can be so much fun when you can cook simple meals that taste good and feels good to you and gives you energy. Food is not supposed to take energy away. It's actually supposed to make you have more energy. So when you have a meal and you want to go to bed, I mean, it's not serving the purpose. So I would serve you a cup of tea, Carl.
I see me.
But the technology hasn't allowed for this yet.
Not yet. I'm sure Google are working on tea sharing at some point. But every time I chuckle now, it sets me off coughing. And, you know, there's this funny thing at the moment. Anyway, I'm so self-conscious every time I cough now as well in these current conditions. But I'm sure it's, as we might discover if I come on one of your workshops, it's me probably clearing something, isn't it? Or getting in touch with something here. As it's a process. I'm going to take it as a process. Jacqueline Mary Brown saying, I'm so enjoying this. I think many of us are, Sandy. Thank you so much. Is there a Facebook page to follow for Sandy? I'm sure there is. I'll make sure that's posted as well. I see that you have Facebook and Instagram pages, don't you, Sandy?
With social media, I'm a little bit behind with technology, as it's been part of my change of lifestyle, was a bit to disconnect. But I do have a Facebook page. It's Swara Slow Living. You can find the Facebook page. The Instagram, I do have Swara Slow Living Instagram. It is a little bit outdated. It's not up to date. I will try and see if I can have people helping me with this, because I know it's the means of communicating nowadays. It's just that I have these resistance right now to social media.
I understand.
I actually been living with no cell phone for 3 months and a half now, and suddenly I'm used to having no cell phone, and I don't think about it anymore. And I'm also almost around home, and I have a house line, so people can contact me there, contact me by email, on the Facebook page as well. So there's different ways people can get in touch, and I'm happy to just receive anybody who wants to come and visit and just have a cup of tea. I mean, you are more than welcome to come here.
And that's amazing that you've detoxed yourself of the cell phone, smartphone thing. Congratulations. That's a brave stance in this modern world of ours.
It was not difficult, you know. I didn't suffer through the process. It was not a difficult thing. It's just a matter of suddenly you get used to not having it. I don't know. It's just where we put our attention and where we put our energy. I mean, where you shift your energy. I mean, suddenly you can easily let go of many things. It's a shift. And also, I've been enjoying a lot what's going on here, like especially the connection with the people that I'm co-living the space with right now. It's been so amazing that I would feel really terrible to spend so many hours on my device when I have so many great things that are just next to me. I don't feel like I want to be somewhere else.
It's funny you should say that. That's what they tend to do, isn't it? This social media takes us somewhere else, and the smartphone is the portal, isn't it? It's like time travel or a dimensional travel away from where you are. And why would we want to do that? That's so fascinating.
And I don't want to make it sound like it's evil, a cell phone, because
sure.
It's not the case. It's just it's a work and a process to how you use the device, how much place it takes in your life, how much time it consumes from you, how much energy it takes away from you. So if you're feeling really exhausted, drained, feeling like too much confusion in your mind, like you don't know where you're going and you're stressed and all of this, well, that means probably reducing time with devices will assist you. So it's just a matter of every individual to see where he's at, where he wants to be, and what measures you can take in your daily life that will help you, give you that energy, give you that clarity of mind. I mean, everything is at your reach, and we tend to look at things outside of ourselves and outside for answers. But I think everybody can find their own solutions.
Yes, indeed. Look, this is one of the great ironies of our time. We're being watched on a phone, of course. That's brilliant. Dhruva says, Sandy, I'm so happy someone on the Good Morning show knew well about Nepal. Yes, I mean, presumably you had a beautiful time in Nepal. It's a beautiful country, right? And the food.
Yeah, yes, and Nepal is actually, I have a Nepalese friend who lives near Azenhas do Mar. She is from Nepal and makes the best samosas ever.
Super. Yeah, I love Nepalese food. Fantastic, and great to see
It is.
more Nepalese restaurants in Portugal. It's fantastic. Dhruva, looking forward to talking to you. Sandy, I think we perhaps you've been so generous with your time, and it's time for us to conclude on the show. But I was just thinking, it seems right that perhaps if you're willing to share with us just a little bit more of your wisdom and your realizations and you know what's come from this project. I think a lot of people are relating to what you're saying, and I think want to perhaps live a slower life. Not quite sure how to do that yet. Yeah, and it's interesting, isn't it? So many people, expats, moving to Portugal, you know, in this sort of sense of retirement. It tells me that's it, whether people consciously know it or not, that the move to slow down is within all of us, isn't it? And we understand why we don't, because of the distractions of the world and our responsibilities and all the things that we have to do, and the kind of lifestyle that's been created, you know, in what we call it, the Western industrialized world and the system we live in. It tends to make or help people get into their stress stories. I'll put it like that. And then what do they want to do with that? They want to move away from it. They want to slow down. They want to retire. So our natural urge, I think, is to be slow, go slow. And it's what we do at the weekends. It's what we do when we're on holiday. It seems to be the natural way of things. What's your advice to people who want to begin that process, who maybe like you know, a few years ago were on a treadmill? How do you begin to unlock from that system?
I think my message to you would be to not be afraid, to not let fear make it impossible for you, because it is scary when we are used to a certain type of structure, and society is a structure. You know, everything is a structure, and then suddenly to start thinking that you can live in a different kind of structure and letting go of these structures that actually have been your support. So this is scary. It's scary when you see these structures that are no longer working and fading away, because that's what we're seeing as a collective right now. Yeah. With this this viral virus that, you know, it's been making us see certain things and be more aware of certain things, and see that certain structures that we've put into place no longer really serve us, and no longer really serve us in the way that we want and that we need. And I feel like it's very scary, you know, if we're not going to function like this anymore and do this, what I'm used to do all the time, like, what's going to happen? And this unknown can be very, very scary. Yes. And I just say trust, because life can surprise you. People can surprise you. Nature can surprise you. You can be surprised in so many different ways if you do it from a place that is of compassion, love, of care, of joy, of abundance. If you do it from this kind of place that is in all of us, life will only support you, and it will manifest in ways that your mind couldn't expect, couldn't program, couldn't plan for it. So yes, it is nice to plan, but leave some space in between the lines when you write down, so life can actually bring, you know, things to you and serve you and the direction that you want to take. So don't let fear and this unknown block the way. Cultivate through whatever tools you meet along the way, because things come when you are ready. So if meditation crosses your path, it's because you're ready to learn it. You're ready to practice it. Like, things come when you are at that, you know, kind of point of maturity, like a fruit. So I think that just cultivate trust, cultivate more stillness, so your mind doesn't play games on you and starts telling you all kinds of scary things and stories, because it's all stories. It's all stories that we are telling ourselves, and our mind is the best storyteller.
Oh, yeah.
And you can't believe all the stories that your mind tells you. So stillness allows for you to also hear other voices that are within you. And, like I tend to say, sometimes we hear voices of authority. Authority voices are like, the voices of my grandmother, of my mother, of my father, of my teacher, of my neighbor, of my friend. There's all these voices, but you have to find stillness to hear your voice. What is your voice telling you? What voice that you hear that suddenly gives you shivers in your body and makes you feel good and makes you feel at ease? Well, that's the voice you have to follow. That's, I think, the message that I want to share with you is that, like, not fear the unknown, and trust that you can be supported when you come and do things from a place that comes from, love. And I think that you can be really surprised and supported. So trust that. Yeah.
Absolutely wonderful. Olga and Will say, yes, wise words, well said. Let me add to that my thanks to you, Sandy, this morning for joining us. Thanks to Shelley for introducing us as well. The wonderful.
Yes, Shelley. She will be with us this weekend. I'm really thrilled and happy that she's coming to join.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. Okay. So thank you, Shelley. Thank you so much, Sandy. The link there for Facebook, for one thing, Swara Slow Living. Let's put in the website address as well, swaraslowliving.com. Thank you so much. I think we're going to go on our way today in a slowed down, peaceful, loving, kind, joyful way. Thanks to your wise words and presence this morning, Sandy.
Have a beautiful day, everyone. And thank you. Thank you for having me here. It was a lot of fun. I enjoyed this very much. I'm not used to this, but I'm really enjoying it. Thank you for making this opportunity for me to express myself. Thank you.
My absolute pleasure. It's got to be a namaste to finish, hasn't it?
Namaste, everyone. The light in me recognizes the light in all of you. Thank you.
Have a great day, everybody. Bye for now, and we'll see you this evening on the Portugal.